are back with another bold Brass Out Loud panel discussion. My name is Rebecca Crew, and I'm one of the founders and also a French horn player in the New Jersey and New York City areas. And today, for our panel discussion, Future Change Makers, we have Melissa Muñoz, Abby Lannan, Shanyse Strickland, and Christopher Bill. So with that being said, if you're new to checking out Brass Out Loud, just to give you a little insight into what we're all about, Brass Out Loud is an organization dedicated to inspiring and uplifting brass players everywhere, but we are especially interested in supporting brass players who have felt underrepresented in the music world. So with that being said, we're not gonna delay anything else. We're gonna get right into it. Thank you all for being here today. We're really excited to have you and to have, another great panel discussion with many great members. So with that being said, let's get started with just some brief introductions, if you guys don't mind, where you're from, what you do, and go from there. So Melissa, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's really a pleasure to be surrounded by all of these wonderful musicians and, most importantly, people. I am a trumpet player and a trumpet educator, as well as a nonprofit administrator here in New York City. Just moved here a few months ago, so I'm definitely still a newbie. I am originally from Texas, and I started as a trumpet performance major and did all of that all throughout school and thought that that was really the only thing that I would be doing. And little did I know it would just be the starting point to expand to a lot of different things. So currently I have a private studio of just a few students, and I'm working full time at the Kaufman Music Center here in New York City, dabbling in a lot of different projects there, mostly in administration. I also am one of the co-founders here at Brass Out Loud, and I am the Educational Initiatives Coordinator for the Nova Trumpet Collective. So that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Abby, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're up to, and all that good stuff?
Sure. Hi, I'm Abby. I'm hello. Known as the Goofy Oof online. I do a bunch of goofy euphonium things. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I play with the River City Brass Band. I play with the Brass Roots, and I'm also their social media manager as well. What else do I do? I teach marching band, which is a lot of fun. I have a couple of private lesson students, and mostly I just kind of do stuff online and make covers and do video game music stuff, and it's just been a whole boatload of fun. I guess I got my bachelor's in music education, and the education, like learning how to teach part of that, has opened up so many doors for me and led me down so many roads that I didn't think I would at first enjoy. So I'm like a big fan of music education and talking about it and trying to help it evolve into something for all musicians of all types. And that's what I like to talk about most these days. So that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Shanyse, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and what's going on?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Shanyse Strickland. I'm originally from Akron, Ohio, and I am a French horn player, flute player, sometimes trombone. I do mostly woodwind and brass things, and I also teach both. I got my bachelor's at Youngstown State University. Went to Duquesne and got my master's. Studied with Zach Smith, and I recently got a artist diploma in jazz horn at Montclair State University. So I'm also in the New York and New Jersey area, freelancing, here and there. But lately I've been doing a lot of composing. I've had a lot of commission projects from a bunch of horn players, but my most recent one was from a trumpet player. It's going to be, and I'm really into composing in very, I want to say peculiar, but just different ways. So like the commission project that I have right now is for trumpet with pedals and electronic keyboard. So just, kind of testing the waters and trying to broaden and expand what classical music looks like and all that other good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Chris Bill, would you like to give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Maybe least. We'll see. Um, I'm Chris Bill. I have been making YouTube videos for a little over 10 years now. I went to the Purchase Conservatory of Music for classical music and promptly started doing pop covers kind of while I was there. And somehow that turned into a career. And I've been making videos every week for, yeah, about the past 7 years. So, yeah, that's pretty much the thing. So, yeah, I've been getting a lot more into education. I was with Con Selmer for the first few years doing their like educational circuit, playing lots of the like Midwest clinics and the NAM shows and those kinds of things, which I never really thought I would step foot in a classroom after the day I graduated. And literally 2 weeks after I graduated, I was in front of students. So that was kind of an interesting twist that I turned out to really enjoy. But yeah, looking forward to hearing from you all.
Awesome. So thank you guys so much again for being here, and thank you for your brief introductions. But now is the time to dive right in. So again, with these panel discussions, we like to just have it be a real big collective conversation. So there's a lot of similarities with you guys, and there's a lot of also differences in what you do. And I guess my first question that I'd like to ask would be, what are you doing in the brass world that sets you apart from others? And any of you can feel free to start the conversation.
Anybody mind if I go first? Okay. So the thing that I'm doing that's different in the brass world is honestly just putting the French horn in an unknown, quote unquote unknown context. Not only I wouldn't honestly classify myself as a jazz player, but I am a non-traditional French horn player. And if you know what that means is, I'm not only playing classical music, but I'm playing multiple genres all the time. So I think I just made a post about this on Facebook the other day. I'm not sure why the French horn with its Western European background is very, if you are a musician or even if you're not, people just only think that the French horn is supposed to be playing Beethoven and Bach. But, people over the pandemic kind of dibbled in, some jazz, maybe some movie and pop covers and stuff like that. But I'm really trying to put this instrument in a solo context where it's, the lead of bands and, in pop music, and actually an instrument that's not only associated with one genre. So I'm completely just taking it out of every comfort zone that's ever been known to man or woman.
That's really cool. I really like that you mentioned non-traditional playing because at least when I was in school, which I just got out of school last year, but when I was in school, I wasn't really introduced to a lot of different kinds of playing. It was mostly just orchestra and band and brass quintet, which is very traditional. But now that I am living in the city, I'm realizing that I really don't play any of that these days. It's mostly non-traditional music, and that has actually improved my musicianship so much. And being outside of my comfort zone and doing all these different kinds of playing is really, really valuable. So I think that's really cool. And that actually kind of segues me into the group that I play in here, which Kate Amrine, our other co-founder, is also a member of, Egalitarian Brass. And we are an all-woman... Hey, Kate. We're an all-woman brass quintet by day and brass band with drums by night. And we play music almost exclusively by women and BIPOC composers and by living composers as well. Additionally, in the brass band era, sort of arena that we do, which was totally new to me, and I also absolutely love, it's super, super fun. We play a lot of pop tunes, which is similar to what y'all do, Abby and Chris, and I would love to hear more about that. So I'm going to shut up now, and y'all could take it over.
When you say you mean like the covers that we do in terms of like multi-tracking and all that? I can talk a little bit about it. I really liked what Shanyse was saying with sorry, lost my train of thought for a second. But how she's taking the French horn into like avenues that the French horn has not been in before and doing all of that like quote unquote weird stuff, I guess. Because I love that. I feel like I'm doing the same thing with euphonium, because with euphonium, it's like we have two avenues that we're sort of taught where it's like, oh, you can be in a military band, or oh, you can be a university professor. And it's like, What if I don't want to do these things? Like, that's fantastic. Great. That's not for me. So I'm just like, let's make music with the instrument that I know how to play, somewhat well, and do the kind of music I want to do with that. So through the pandemic, the way I got started doing those covers was just sat down and was like, this video game piece would sound cool on 4 euphoniums. I'm not gonna find an arrangement for that. Why don't I just go arrange it? And it gave me a project to work on through, sitting around at home doing nothing for like however long. And I just started to continue doing that. And through that, my arranging skills, I think, at least I hope, got a lot better. So instead of like just 4 pieces, I think the last one I did had like 11 different parts, which I've never arranged before. I've never sat down to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. This wasn't like taught in schools, but I had so much fun learning how to do it. I had so much fun like reaching out to these people who wanted to play with me and for me. I've met a lot of friends doing these kinds of things and being in these online communities with like video game music. I've met incredible, amazing musicians who also are doing things that are not like typical, like brass, this is what's taught in school kind of thing. So, and it's just like what Melissa's doing. Well, you guys are in this brass band who, hey, we're a brass quintet at morning, we're a brass band with drums at night, and that's fantastic and wonderful and amazing. And I'm trying to get into that as well and do that kind of thing here in Pittsburgh. And like, I just feel like my whole big passion right now for what I'm trying to do is not only get people to just keep playing music no matter how they want to pursue that. Like if they want to learn their major and minor scales and go for those orchestra auditions, like that's wonderful and amazing. But if you also just kind of want to play for yourself and for your family and whatever, like that's also just as viable and just as valid. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like I just want people to keep making music. That's what I'm trying to do in whatever avenues that takes you down, and that there always is a way to make it a career and make it a thing. So that's, I'm kind of like circling, all over the place, but that's how I feel about that kind of stuff. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's so funny because like the question was what sets you apart and what makes you different, and after Abby just talked, I'm like, oh, nothing, because she's doing exactly what I'm doing, and it's amazing. But that said, like there is something to be said about like even if you try to do something exactly like somebody else, your original voice is going to come through, and you couldn't possibly be the same as somebody else. And I think that's kind of, I mean, at the beginning when I was doing it, it was really easy because there was like one other person making brass videos on YouTube. Now it's very, everybody's doing it. So now finding that lane for yourself seems more important. But yeah, I think even if you tried to just copy somebody, you couldn't possibly do it, and your own voice will still come through. The thing that I did think about though is that I feel like I prioritize enjoying what I do and having fun playing more than we're taught to. So that kind of feels like it sets me apart. Like, of course, the technique and all of that stuff has to be there and it's important, but I feel like it actually comes second for me. And it's like, as long as I'm having fun doing it, then I'm doing my job.
Yes, I love that so much. And hello, thank you all so much for being here. Sorry to chime in late. The thing that really amazes me by everything that you all are saying is that obviously you're so just unapologetically yourselves and so individual. And I know, Chris, you were saying, oh, we're similar, but it's like, no, all of you are so different and so inspiring. And I hope that, students and anyone watching hears that and realizes that you don't need somebody to give you permission to do the thing that you want to do. I think that's sort of something that a lot of people in school or a lot of people like sitting around with projects in your back pocket are just waiting for someone to be like, oh yes, I can be a whatever soloist. But obviously you all are doing the things. It's so awesome. So just to change gears slightly, I am wondering for each of you, one thing that you've been struggling with recently, and then one thing that you're excited for, because I feel like we're gonna get some crazy different answers and I'm excited to hear your responses.
Do we want to go in the same circle? We can do that. Okay, so, and this is a very transparent thing for me, but I'm a realist. I keep it real. And over the pandemic, like a lot of people, I didn't have a lot of performance opportunities. And so I've been going out busking with a horn quartet. And the last time that I played with them, it was like I was rusty. And it wasn't, the lack of practice. It was you're in front of people right now and you're playing. You know what I mean? I've suffered from anxiety, performance anxiety in the past, but a few of my good friends who have been, performing on the road and in orchestras and things like that have came to me and they're experiencing some of the same things. It's just like, I can't breathe when I'm on stage. I don't know what's happening, but I just like, that year off for a lot of people is just like the mental part was really taxing. And so it's just like, getting into that gear of honestly getting rid of the imposter syndrome to be like, hey, you can do this. You've been doing this for a long time. You took a little break off, but it's going to be fine. But yeah, just, even with a low pressure situation like busking outside, I was just like, whoa, okay. Certain things came out that I was kind of surprised that I wasn't even prepared for, and it was honestly basically, the muscle memory was like only getting me so far. Because mentally, just reading music, just like, off the back, just going through charts, I was just like, okay, because I've been doing a bunch of pre-recorded stuff. I've been doing track work for a lot of artists and stuff. So I mean, usually, I'm either just coming like straight off the dome with that, just like, and then recording it a couple times, mastering it, but it was just a whole different world. So I'm just like, I struggled a little bit, but I have a few performances coming up in October. So I'm just much more mentally, like at ease with things. But yeah, that was like a little, just getting back out there, getting back on the bike. It was just a little bit much. So I'm working on that. But something that I'm excited for is some of the commission projects that I have coming up. I mean, like I have some big ones, like with a few big names. So I'm just like, oh, I'm excited, but I'm also just happy that these very like highly esteemed musicians in the classical world that we live in are willing to play my music. You know what I mean? Just as a composer, because I mean, I've been, all my degrees are in performance. I don't have any education degree. So I recently got into teaching, but usually it's been performing. But this like composer life is it's gratifying in a different kind of way. I am working with classical musicians, so they have to play everything on the page that I tell them to. It's like the evil control. No. But just the fact that they're willing to, play my music. And I mean, the world is in very crazy times right now. So just whenever I'm writing a piece, I'm like, this is my little legacy, like when I'm not here anymore, people are gonna still be able to look at this music and read it and enjoy it and hopefully get what I was trying to get across. So I'm excited for the opportunities that honestly wouldn't have happened if that pandemic didn't happen. If I didn't like sit myself down and be like, okay, you're gonna write this stuff for this person because they asked you to do it and it's good for you and that kind of thing. So I'm just excited for the future and some of the opportunities that I have coming up.
That's so cool. I guess I'm up next. Well, congratulations on all of your commissions. That's really, really awesome. You're like doing every aspect, dabbling in all of it. I guess the biggest thing that I have struggled with, especially in the past few months, I moved a few times during the pandemic, 4 times, and now that I'm finally settled, I'm finding that it's a little bit harder to find balance. You're trying to furnish your apartment, you're trying to go to work, you're trying to practice, teach, this and that. And then on top of that, for me, it's always been very important that I have really strong relationships with my friends and that I make time to speak and hang out with my friends and my family. And that's usually my number one priority, but I have noticed that it has kind of had to take a back seat sometimes. So that's really hard for me because I value them so much. But just balance in general has been really difficult post-pandemic and during the pandemic, because whenever everything shut down, you know, like you said, Shanyse, we just had so much time on our hands. And then I was like, oh, I have so much time to do all these projects. Let's dive right in. And now that the world is, you know, coming back, at least here in the US, and I'm working a full-time job. Now I'm working the job plus all of the projects. So it's been definitely an interesting mix, but Google Calendar is my best friend. And if you're listening and you want to get organized, I definitely recommend it. Something I'm excited for, I am a fellow with the Cleveland Institute of Music Future of Music Faculty Fellowship. It's its first year, and basically it's for people who are interested or already in academia, and we learn once a month. We like meet online for full 3 days and get mentored. There's really amazing classes about every part of academia, and so that has been really interesting for me to be in a room, you know, sort of like this, with a bunch of other BIPOC musicians and really, really smart musicians, way smarter than me, which is just so humbling. I love it. I just keep my mouth shut when I'm in it. But we're gonna all meet together at Sphinx, which this is my first time going to the Sphinx convention early next year. So that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Okay, my button didn't want to unmute, but here we are. Hello. So, I guess the big thing, it's all in one for me, what I'm nervous about, kind of like, you know, all that, and then what I'm excited about. So, through the pandemic was a time for me to really reflect on who I am as a player, what music I want to play, like what kind of music I want to create. And very recently, in the last like 5 months or so, I've been very interested in types of music and styles of music that I've never even taken into consideration before in terms of what I want to do. And I've picked up like, this is the first time I'm mentioning it in like public, but I've like picked up jazz books. I've picked up, like, I really want to learn all the different types of jazz scales and whatnot. And I'm looking at solo transcriptions. I'm listening to all these different musicians, all of these different bands. I'm like, just anything out there that's not the typical classical music standard that we listen to all the time, and I want to do it. And I want to make that kind of music, and I want to go out in public and busk. I've never done that on a brass instrument before. I've picked up trombone more seriously, which, by the way, is a very difficult instrument. I don't know if any of y'all know this, but that's really hard. It's a tuning slide. It's a whatever. I've also picked up flugabone, which is even more of a joke than the euphonium, which is just, you know, I thought maybe that I'd go in a direction where people would know the instrument I play. Doesn't seem like it, that's fine. But I'm having a lot of fun. I'm more inspired to pick up these horns and practice them than I've honestly been to pick up the euphonium and practice it in a very long time. And I'm terrified of it because it's not something I've ever done before. It's music I've never played or seen sheet music for, and like the style of it is never sit down and rehearse it for 6 hours and then perform it for 10 minutes and you're done. It's, you know, oh, you're just gonna go perform right now for 6 hours, and that's just how it's gonna be. And that's, you know, no one's gonna hold your hand and be like, here, play this with this articulation. You just kind of gotta figure it out. And I'm really excited about it, and I'm really scared about it because it's an avenue I've never explored, but I really want to. So that's me. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, okay. So I had a really weird pandemic because I was video editing. Like, I shifted from making my own videos and started doing virtual ensemble videos for orchestras and bands, and I like didn't really have a day off until I had to just stop because I got totally burnt out. And so it was a weird time to have a lot of work as a musician, even though it wasn't music that I was working on. It was like I almost didn't want to even like say it to any of my friends because of course they were out of work and it was awful. And then I'm like, I'm busy. Like, nobody's gonna give me any. Yeah, but I totally got burnt out, and so it was this weird kind of isolated burnout where I felt like I couldn't even tell anybody. And so I'm still kind of getting over that. I stopped doing those in June, like mid-June. And so the whole summer it was kind of this weird trying to be productive on my own stuff and get out of that burnout. So that has definitely been a struggle, and I feel like just the past couple of weeks I'm finally coming out of it. So maybe that's also what I'm excited about, is it feels good to make music again and get back to it and be creative. And there's always, I mean, I never run out of ideas, which means I'll never finish them all. So that's a little bit of anxiety, but mostly just I look at that list of things that I want to accomplish and like different video ideas, if it's that, or a tour idea or whatever it is. Right now I'm working on a like a mental health handbook for content creators, and like that stuff gets me really excited. And when I actually have the time to work on it, which feels like this fall I finally do, and it's like, I'm just going to spend 3 days working on this thing that may never make me any money, and it doesn't matter. Like that's what I get really, really, really excited about. And I think most people call those weekends, but maybe you all understand that that is a foreign concept to many of us. Anyway.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. I think that, talking about these things that we're excited about, but also being realistic about our struggles too, is really important for not only us to like get off our chest and say, hey, these faces that you see on the internet also, carry a weight, and that's okay. And we learn from that and we grow from that and we figure our lives out and we move forward. So again, thank you all for sharing. Our next question is a really good one. Speaking of future change makers, especially with the title of this panel, our question to you is, how are you creating change in the brass world through your work?
The way I would say I'm creating change is I'm actually creating the music. I mean, because that's kind of just like step one. If I have a goal, which I wouldn't honestly necessarily say that it's my main goal, is to like change the entire perception of the French horn. I just want more jobs to be accessible to French horn players, to be honest, and it's not just them sitting in an orchestra. I feel like there should be, more jobs like that. But I feel like the first step is just, people always say, well, I need an example of what you want to do, so me, what I've done is I'm trying to create this genre called like classical pop. So it's like classical music, but combined with pop music, which I mean, orchestras, groups have done that before, but actually, for today's music, for 2021, and what that looks like, and just the language of how that sounds, but also still keeping classical elements in there, whether it be, for example, the form of a piece, like keeping it in sonata form, but then having like R&B licks like all day throughout it, like stuff like that. So really just providing the music, but then also providing the example. Something that's really important to me is representation. I recently just got a student, and she's a young Black girl that wants to play the French horn. That is like absolute taboo from where I'm from. I didn't have any like role models or anybody that isn't classical music or jazz or anything to say like, hey, like this person looks like me. So I also feel like I'm providing an example to lead into more diverse horn players, to be honest. I mean, I want to say 5 Black lady French horn players, friends that I know, like only 5. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I want that to be different. I just want it to be different, and just inclusivity, diversity, representation, all those things are really important to me. So it kind of ties into the music that I create too. So it's just creating a different face for the French horn, but also creating different opportunities musically for the French horn too.
Yeah, I totally relate with you in a way. I don't know a lot of other Hispanic female trumpet players, and that has always been something that, I wouldn't say that it's been like always on my mind, but it's definitely something you notice when you walk into a room and you're the only person that looks like you. And that's why I think that my work, the biggest impact that I feel like I make is through Brass Out Loud, just spreading awareness and highlighting other people. That is definitely the main goal of the organization and the work that we do. Regarding the other project I'm a part of, the Nova Trumpet Collective, it's a collective that seeks to create music for trumpet ensembles, but for young trumpet ensembles, because as you probably all heard of National Trumpet Competition, or even if you haven't, it's exactly what you think it is, a bunch of trumpet players playing in ensembles, competing against each other, and it's a real good time, but a lot of the music is really, really challenging, and it's all about showmanship. So the collective is trying to make it more accessible for younger students to be able to play in these ensembles. So accessibility is also something that is really important to me, making sure that students are, number one, able to hear from people like all of you, on a platform that's free. You know, Brass Out Loud, all of our media is free. Our workshop, this is a shameless plug, I guess, but but also our workshop is extremely affordable too, and that's something that we really, really value. The other thing is through my teaching, the first and foremost important thing in my instruction is that my students are given the skills to be able to play the music that they like. And so I don't want to, dictate every single part of the lesson, and I don't want them to just play what I assign them. I want to know what their interests are, and I also want to expose them to every single kind of music so that they know that it's not just this one kind of music you can play. No, you can play anything you want. You got to practice. So that's really what I think is how I'm impacting the brass world.
And I think that's incredible, because I feel like I try to do a similar thing with reaching out and whatnot, where I want people to just make the music that they want to make, and I want them to understand that they don't have to be at a certain level to make the music they want to make. They don't have to have graduated from college to say, all right, now I can play the music I want to play. They can play that throughout their entire, education thing, throughout like middle school, high school, all of it. They can just play what they want to play. Through, and you can excuse me, I might get on my soapbox a little bit here, so feel free to just be like, Abby, shut up, we're gonna go on to someone else already. So what Goofy You've started was like practice videos, and it quickly evolved into something where it was like, hey, like, it's okay to be a musician that's going through a hard time. It's okay to deal with awful things and take time for yourself, because as musicians, like, we have this whole we need to be perfect mindset. We have this perfectionism that's held over us from when we start playing our instrument, at least in like a classical music setting, like beginning band situation. You need to play this perfectly. You're going to be graded on it. And it's okay not to want to do that. It's okay to be yourself and play the music that you want to play. It's okay not to like classical music and yet want to play these classical musical instruments or whatever. So I wanted to just make musicians of any kind just feel like that's okay to do, because I feel like that's not taught enough in schools, where it's like, oh, you're taught to play hot cross buns in 6th grade, and then we're going to move on to the next piece, and then the next piece, and then here's the list of pieces that you're going to play. And it's like what Melissa's talking about. Hey, why don't you play what you want to play? Because I feel like if students are excited to play music, that's going to make them want to practice in order to get better at it so they can play more music that they want to play. And I think that's very important. At the end of the day, the whole thing is I try to talk in a way that's like, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're playing, no matter what instrument you're playing, what genre, what style, like whatever you're doing, as long as you're doing it and enjoying it and having fun, and like, if you have the mindset of wanting to get better, you're trying to get better and actively seeking information to help you get better, then that's fantastic. And that's all you need to be a valid and important musician in the world. We have, as like classical musicians, people are like, oh, if you're not perfect, you're not a real musician. If you don't have a high level, like well-paying musical job in a high level orchestra, then you're not a real musician. And it's like, that's not the case. That's not it at all. So I'm trying to speak in a way and encourage every student of every age to just be like, I'm a musician, and I don't have to be perfect to be a musician, whatever that means. So that's what I try to do. That's what I try to talk about. I play video game music a lot. Like, that's it. That's me.
Maybe I should just give all my time to Abby because she's saying all the things I want to say. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I guess if I had to say something else, and I guess I do. Thanks, Abby.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. You're amazing. I don't really think about on a day to day like trying to make a big impact on like the people that listen to my music or anything like that. Like that isn't a main motivator for me. And so I guess that means it's like if I'm having fun, hopefully people see that as like an option for you, is you can have fun playing music. Kind of that lead by example situation. But as you all were talking, I'm realizing like there definitely is something that I do feel passionate about, which is like when I do have these opportunities where I'm hiring other musicians, like I it's very clear that's like if I hire a bunch of like straight white men, like that's a decision. And that's like that I do feel pretty passionate about. Like anytime I've had those opportunities to hear other voices and amplify those other voices, that that does feel like something that's like if I had a magic wand and could actually like make a big change, having people see themselves represented on stage would be definitely one. And if I could do that with my career, that feels like that would be a good use of my platform.
That's awesome. Kate, you want to go?
Yeah, I was going to say something. I just love that so much. And I was actually hoping that somebody would say that because so many people don't actually think of that. Just like you said, we're not out here trying to make change. You're just doing the thing that you're passionate about. And so I love that so much because it's really important. I think a lot of people, definitely young people in school, but they're coming out here like, I want to be the best person. I want to be the best trumpet player. I want to really make a difference. And it's like, no, I just want to make good art. I just want to make something that is great and is something that I'm interested in. And I just love that so much. So thank you.
And I just kind of want to piggyback a little bit off of what Abby was saying. We're kind of piggybacking off of each other. But I think that as we're young and as young teachers, we really do have that advantage. And we're in the music scene, exactly what's happening with other young musicians. So we're more, I don't want to say woke in a way, but we know what's happening in the music scene. So it makes it a little bit easier for us to inform younger students that they do have all of these other options.
And I think it's important, like, to inform them that they have these other options and to encourage them that these are extremely viable options that they can take and find extreme fulfillment in. I think, and again, I'm on a soapbox here, but if you get to like a university level performance thing, I'm starting to have maybe a little bit of a personal gripe with like performance degrees where they teach you, hey, you're going to practice for like 6 hours a day and then you're going to take some music history, music theory classes, and then you're going to go audition and win a job. And it's like, do you take into consideration simply how many of these musicians are in this school? It's like, why not take that opportunity to not only, allow them to practice and explore their musicality and do what they want, but teach them other life skills like, hey, you need to know how to market for yourself these days. This is a skill that's developed in the last, 10, 15 years, even in the last 2 years. It's like, you need to figure out how to do that. You need to figure out how to talk to people and how to work together in groups and how to manage your time extremely well, because there are so many people, especially in university setting, a lot of people just have maybe one ensemble that they go to 3 times a week and that's it. And there's so many other skills I think we can be teaching alongside of like the performance degree track, but at the same time the performance degree track maybe shouldn't just be 100% hey, you're going to go audition for an orchestra, learn these 15,000 excerpts, right? It should be an avenue for musicians to explore the music that they want to make while teaching them valuable life skills of how to survive for themselves until they are able to do what they want to do, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So that's just continuing on.
I just wanted to say one thing. I know we've kind of been rolling. I'm sure there's another question, but the thing is that we need teachers that have the multifaceted things that we all encompass in these universities, though. Because I mean, what do you do when you get to a certain level? Obviously, out of high school, you go study with the person that you want to sound like. well, it's not my fault that Zach Smith is like a badass and he's had a PSO spot since he was like 25, but then when I'm coming to him saying like, well, what about like recording and like entrepreneurship? He's like, I mean, I've had this chair for about like 30, 40 years. So, but don't get me wrong, like extremely encouraging. I'm like, I want to play jazz. He's like, well, let's hear it. That's the thing. Having teachers that are open to it is almost as good as having a teacher that has the experience. But think about if all of the teachers that we had, had experience in orchestral situations, but also were freelance jazz musicians, or, just like having like a well-rounded experience, and not to take away from like the great names that made us want to play these instruments in the first place, right? But it's just like, we need more teachers that have the experience so that we have guidance for these students too. And that's something that, like I said, like I haven't gotten into a lot of teaching, but that's something that I'm happy that I could offer my students. It's like, do you like video game music? I could teach you your fundamentals of trumpet and horn through video game music. We never think about that kind of stuff. It's like, let's pull out the Farkas method that only has one representation of one person. Like, it's just like, we need like more well-rounded teachers to be in these universities, or at least adjunct or something, so that if you have that, little rock star euphonium player that wants to like play Led Zeppelin all day, maybe somebody that has experience playing that music could also guide them and help them like make a career out of something like that.
I just have a little anecdote from when I was in school because I could not agree more. Uh, I'm very conflicted on the university thing because of my experience. Because I had some teachers who were super supportive but didn't really get it. They were just like, "Keep doing what you're doing. It seems to be working." And then I for my, I don't know if it was my junior recital or my senior recital, I wanted to do all self-accompanied with the looper or with pre-recorded stuff of my own arrangements. And the head of the faculty basically, he said, we don't do that here. So it's like, can you imagine, now I feel like there's no way that they would say that, but it was not that long ago. So yeah, those are the kinds of things where it's like, so what am I supposed to do? Stop doing any of that. Just go back to the practice room and win one of the 6 trombone jobs in the world. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible. Oh my gosh. Yikes. But I think we've probably all had a similar experience that somebody just really put you down, and that stays with you forever. So if you are watching and you have young students, just be mindful that they are very influential. And as somebody who is still young and a teacher, it's some of the things come back to me. And it's not like they haunt you, but you just remember them. But luckily, that's something that you can also use as an advantage to say, I will not make somebody feel that way. Instead, I'm going to change it to be something positive. And it's kind of going back to what Shanyse was saying in terms of what young musicians may be interested in, entrepreneurship, starting your own business, or diving into whatever other projects. Don't be afraid to do it. Just go do it. I never thought that I would be an activist, never in a million years. I was a really quiet kid growing up. I just wanted to play trumpet and be alone. And now it's like I can't do that anymore. So if you have any questions, like go ask somebody. People are super open to talking over Zoom or on the phone or even via, Messenger. And there's just so much information out there that is easily accessible, but I think it's easier to talk to somebody. It makes it more human in a way to learn from people via internet and in person and stuff like that.
So one quick question. I'm wondering, what do you all have coming up that we can look forward to? Is there anything happening soon that we can all watch or purchase or check out? What's coming up?
I can't say nothing. I want to tell you, but I can't. So it's one of, I think I mentioned it earlier, it's one of the big commission projects that I have coming up. So I post, if you follow me on Facebook, I usually post just stuff randomly. So, but all the social medias and all that other stuff will have that information. But composing, I'm in my composing bag, as the young kids would say today. So yeah, big commission projects coming up.
The next thing that I have coming up is Egalitarian Brass has our classical show coming up later this month. So you can follow us at Egalitarian on Facebook and Instagram and check out what we're up to. And yeah, that's what I'm most excited for.
Okay, it takes 3 clicks for me to unmute my microphone. I don't understand why. Okay. I don't have much at the moment for myself and my personal projects. I think a little bit like Christopher Bill, I got really burnt out. I've dealt with a lot of mental stress this year, and I'm just still trying to like come back from all of that and just trying to take care of myself and look after myself first and foremost, which I'm okay with. So River City Brass Band is coming back at the end of October. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're back to a mostly regular season starting in November. So if you guys are around Pittsburgh and you want to come see a brass band show where we're really loud, please come see a show because it's so much fun to play. That's it. That's what I got going on.
Well, I over the pandemic hired a video editor to help me out. I was doing them all myself for a decade, and that's a weird thing to kind of offload when you know you could do it yourself, and now you're paying somebody else to do it, and it's like, ugh. But then I got the stuff back from her, and I was like, oh, you're like way better than me. Like, this is so fun now. And so I hire her to do one of my videos per month, and so I always look forward to releasing those, and it's like so much fun for me to even watch them, and it's just like, this is so much better than anything I could possibly do. And so I'm sending her my Halloween video this week, and I'm just like super excited to see what she does with it. So I'm excited about that. I hope everyone else is too, but I'm just excited.
That's awesome. Well, I know that everybody watching and everybody here is probably really excited to keep seeing what all of you are up to and, continue to be up to. So with that being said, anybody on Facebook, if you have any questions for any of our panelists, now is the time to submit the questions so we have time to ask. But in the meantime, for part of our wrap up, we ask this question after every bold chat, after every panel discussion. And this question is completely up to your interpretation. So think about it for a second after we ask it. Nobody's in any sort of rush to jump in and answer right away. And that question is, what is your ideal brass community?
My ideal brass community is one that does all the things. I mean, I want pop locking minds. I want the euphonium player to wear the euphonium as a hat at one point, and somebody to climb into a sousaphone. I mean, I feel like it comes off as unorthodox, but I just think the brass community, like, we're capable of so many different things. I'm ready for French horns and trombones and euphoniums to be just like any other mainstream instrument. I know trumpet is pretty much, one of the mainstream instruments because it could like it's like a chameleon. It could be in a bunch of different genres and like actually thrive and exist. But I want the rest of the brass community to be able to do that too. That flugelhorn thing, you should be able to toot that however you want to toot it, and it be appreciated on the same level as if you were playing some kind of concerto. So I just want the diversity of genres. That's the main thing. I mean, like, I love Latin music. Like, it's so groovy. Why aren't there like whole suites that are in like a Latin groove? Like, that sounds crazy, right? But I mean, I feel like it should be a thing. So I just want there to be an explosion of diversity. I want people to open their minds up a little bit more and just like, realize that all of these instruments are limitless. It's just a little bit of wind with some metal tubes, but we could do a bunch of different things with it.
Wow, that is hard to follow. That was really good. And I want all those things too. That's beautiful. I think the Latin whole suite would be super dupe. We should do it. Okay, my ideal brass community is definitely a group of supportive musicians where everybody feels comfortable and feels like that they can be themselves, whatever that may be, even if you're totally crazy and amazing. I also hope that young students are given resources and see themselves in other musicians, if that makes sense. My ideal brass community is a community where kiddos and aspiring musicians feel comfortable entering the field.
Shanice just said everything I wanted to say. Everything to a T. I want it to be diverse. I want it to be supportive and kind and helpful. And I want everyone to work with everybody and not look down on anybody for a specific style they're playing or an instrument they're playing or whatever. Like, we have been taught from whenever we picked up a horn, we've been taught the technique. And it's like, why not be taught everything else about music? Because there's so much out there that's just amazing. So why not just, you ever go to you go to a chicken wing place and they have a menu and they have 45 different sauces. You want to try every sauce. That's what I'm like with the brass. That's what I'd like to see is everyone brass group goes to a chicken wing place and tries out all the sauces. Oh, that analogy got away from me very fast, but exactly the same as Shanice. 100%. Okay, we're done.
Is that what you were saying, Shanice? I don't know.
That's exactly what I was saying. Chicken wing brass. Boom.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it short and sweet. I want it to be collaborative and uncompetitive. Bam. Done.
These were all some really, really awesome ideal communities, and I think we can all agree that chicken wing brass is definitely it. That's the highlight of the panel. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that I believe is it. There's no questions coming in on Facebook. If people see this later on and they do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Brass Out Loud. You can send us an email and we'll be happy to get you your answers from our fine panelists. And with that being said today, Abby, Chris, Melissa, and Shanice, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all for everything that you had to say, all the inspiration and all just real raw energy that you guys have brought today. We super, super appreciate this. And this is, what Brass Out Loud is all about, to have these conversations and, get everybody together. So with that being said, thank you guys again.
And one last quick thing, we actually have some exciting news of our own. I know Rebecca was just about to say it, but I want to say it, so I'm excited. So our workshop is going to be launched very soon. It will be in January. We're going to be releasing the faculty very soon, so please stay tuned. We want you and you and you and you to register. So tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your students. It's going to be a really, really great year, and we hope to see you there.
Yep. So if you're interested in checking out anything and staying up to date with what's going on and all these announcements with our workshop that we, again, will be releasing very soon, you can check us out on Facebook, Brass Out Loud. You can check us out on Instagram at Brass Out Loud. You can go to our website, brassoutloud.com. And if you're interested in, getting any sort of merch, whether it's a nice wine glass from us or a t-shirt, if you want to represent us in any sort of way, or even if you'd like to donate to us, you can do that all on our website, and we would be, we're absolutely grateful for anything that we can do to continue to further this organization and have these amazing events. So with that being said, have a great rest of your Sunday, and we will see you very soon.